Hi, I'm Dana Brownlee. I'm a Forbes Careers Senior Contributor. I'm a keynote speaker and an author. And today I want to go beyond the article. And the article I'm referencing is my October 21st, 2021 article, Foster Strong Team Collaboration Using These 4 Project Management Techniques. Now, I've spent most of my career either as a project manager or teaching project management training. And I think that there's so much that project managers, the good ones, that we do well that everyone can learn and benefit from. And a lot of that has to do with fostering a strong, healthy, collaborative environment. So in this particular article, I identified 4 specific techniques or strategies that virtually anyone can use. So number 1, actually conduct kickoff meetings. We're running so fast and everyone's, chatting on Slack and other social media, and we're trying to get so many things done. And too often we end up just having emails fly around and we don't really ground ourselves in a traditional kickoff meeting. And there is so much benefit to that. Even if there are members of what I would call the extended team that get invited to this kickoff meeting that you don't see again until, the first major milestone or maybe even the end of the project. It is so valuable, so beneficial whenever possible to get everybody in the same room, or even if you can't, physically have people together, do it via Zoom or however you need to have a proper kickoff meeting. Unfortunately, what I see too often these days is, emails start flying, or attach a bunch of documents and post them on Slack, and you just kind of assume everybody's on the same page. Okay, everybody's not on the same page. You really need to have that official kickoff meeting to, clarify your scope, your deliverables, who are the members of the team, the roles, expectations related to time, cost, quality, all that good stuff. So when you skimp on that in the beginning, you end up paying the price later on. So go ahead and have a proper kickoff meeting. Number 2 is begin relationship building early. And if you're having the real kickoff meeting that I'm urging you to have, that's a great way to start doing that. Go ahead and incorporate that relationship building. This shouldn't just be about tasks. It should also be about ensuring that, people aren't walking around on eggshells for the first month of the project, really trying to get people to make those connections and build those relationships. I remember early in my career where I went probably a year on this major project and they didn't really get us together until the end. That's another mistake that people make. It's like they wait till the end and then they fly everybody and say, oh, let's have this wonderful kumbaya session. And I'm saying, you know what? If I had just had this at the beginning instead of at the end, it really would have transformed how I worked with people. There was one woman in particular that I really had difficulty with the entire time. As luck would have it, they sat her right next to me during the lunch celebration, and we just started chatting it up, and we realized we both had watched The Young and the Restless for like 20 years, and she was like my best friend in like 10 minutes. So really think about small ways and big ways to begin that relationship building as soon as you can, as early as possible, because, really those relationships build trust. And I've never seen a highly productive team that has low levels of trust. So really think about doing that. Number 3, identify everyone's preferred communication style really early on and take the time. Don't make an assumption, because what we usually do is we default to our preferred communication style. I'm an emailer, okay? That's my preferred style. And so one of the mistakes I can make is overusing email. But take the time. I have an activity that I talk about in the article called the 4 Walls activity, and you can do it virtually as well. But figure out what's each person's preference. Do you prefer Slack or instant message? Do you prefer face-to-face? Do you prefer Zoom or phone? So figure out what those preferences are so that everyone can quickly see and understand, oh, she said she's a Slack person. So you know what? I'll just go ahead and send her this quick, question or message, versus someone who's more of a phone person. Maybe I'll just kind of keep a little running list of some of the questions and see if I can connect with them on Friday and do like a 30-minute meeting to get all my questions out. So really try to take your time to do that, so that you can customize to each person's preferred style as much as possible. And then finally, take the time to develop some team ground rules. What most teams don't do this. And so unfortunately what they do is everyone just kind of starts working the way they work, and then bitterness starts to kind of creep up because why are they scheduling these Friday 4:00 meetings? Like, that's ridiculous. Don't they understand people are, trying to get the weekend started? Or, why are they being so loud? Why are they taking this conference call in their cube, but the whole, floor can hear what's going on? So I like to call it like home rules or home training for the workplace. It's kind of like that first roommate that you had. Like, it was great in the beginning, but after a while you started noticing that they were leaving dirty dishes in the sink and they were playing their music too loud. We all have preferences, but unfortunately you have to kind of come together and talk about this stuff so that we can all coexist harmoniously. So if you haven't done that, just take the time. I used to say to my teams, you know what? We've all been on really dysfunctional teams, but I don't want this to be that. I want us to be the rock star team. So let's just take a minute and go around the room and ask each person to share, or you can write it down as well. What's one suggested ground rule for how we're going to work together? And the rules don't have to feel like rules or punitive, anything like that. They can be fun. They should reflect the personality of the team. I had one team, in fact, where their ground rule was any meeting longer than 2 hours must have food. Any meeting longer than 3 hours must have beer. Okay, so it really reflected their personality, but it's a way that you don't just make assumptions, but you really do come together and try to honor each person's preferences. So with that, I hope that's helpful for you as you try to build more collaborative teams. If you enjoyed the tips, please go ahead and like and subscribe down below. As always, my advice is just mine, not representing any particular business or organization. And if you want to stay in touch, please follow me on LinkedIn as well as on Forbes, and also check out my course library on LinkedIn Learning.